Welcome back to another episode of War in Cali. San Francisco in the 80s and 90s had a strong edge. Crime rates were higher than they are now, and in certain neighborhoods, they had reputations that locals understood without needing explanation. By the 1980s, Hunters Point had already been dealing with decades of neglect after the naval shipyard shut down and the industrial jobs disappeared. That led to unemployment spiking. The economic vacuum created space for the underground economies, mainly being drugs. The crack cocaine epidemic hit the neighborhood hard. Drug dealing became one of the only ways that young men began to make money, and that came with violence. Turf lines formed around housing projects and blocks, and conflicts over drug territory became common. At the same time, systematic issues made things worse. The area had long been segregated and underfunded, leading to concentrated poverty, which is directly tied to higher crime rates. Frisco hit over 100 homicides per year during the early 90s. The early 90s are widely considered a modern high point for violent crime in Frisco. This matters because Hunters Point consistently accounted for a major share of those killings. The Hunters Point area has several housing projects out the district, some being West Point, Harbor Road, and Oakdale among others. At a point, all these areas were cool, but that would later change in the 90s, and deadly rivalries would start to develop, and that leads us to this story. Darnell August, by March of 1995, was a 21-year-old man from San Francisco. He worked a job and was a father of a 4-year-old daughter. He grew up in the Oakdale housing projects and was believed to be a part of a gang in the area called the Oakdale Mob, but his mom would state that wasn't true, stating that Darnell may have been friendly with some of the Oakdale gang members, but only because a young man has to be on good terms with the local thugs in the area just to survive. Just because he grew up here, they're saying he was a gang member. My son was not in a gang. He wasn't perfect, but he wasn't into drugs. He wasn't a criminal. He was a hard-working young man who was trying to survive and get out of here alive. Whether Darnell was or wasn't a member of Oakdale, their rival Harbor Road believed that Darnell was responsible for the death of one of its members, and that's all the evidence needed to kill him. Police said he had a target on his back. Police stated that the two gangs, being Harbor Road and Oakdale, had been in a bloody feud since 1993. Police said it's not clear what started the war. Some attributed to it being a house party, where an Oakdale young member from their gang had his shoe stepped on. Others state that an Oakdale man disrespected a Harbor Road woman. Then another report said a major figure in that area was killed. Police estimate that there have been more than 30 separate incidents where shots have been fired by members of one group at the other. In most cases, no one was injured, and in some incidents, people were wounded and some were murdered. Larry Blankenship was one of the first people to die in this war. He died in a drive-by shooting in August of 1993. Police say he was not an active Harbor Road member, but was described as a hanger-on who just lived up in the area. Harbor Road believed that Darnell was responsible because they saw a van they thought was his used in the killing. Detectives said Darnell was not there when Larry was killed, but his van may have been used by his friends. There were several attempts on his life after that. Darnell did not report this to the police, his family said. On his job as a maintenance man for the San Francisco Housing Authority, he would sometimes have to pick up trash along Harbor Road. They never shot at him, but they would harass him and point their fingers like guns at him. At a barbecue sponsored by the city that was declared a temporary truce, Tangela, Darnell's mom, stated her son confronted one of the people who had been threatening him and asked him, "Why do you want to kill me?" The man stated, "We got nothing with you." But about a month later, Darnell was driving on Pulu and 3rd Street with a friend to his mother's home. That's when a carload of Harbor Road gangsters saw them and pursued him and opened fire. Darnell jumped out of his car and ran towards his mom's home, while his friend fled between two buildings. Police said they sprayed more than 100 rounds across the projects, but unfortunately, one stray bullet hit a woman named Antoinette James in the forehead, which instantly killed her. She was watching her granddaughter play nearby. Police stated that Darnell would still not identify his attackers to police, even after his neighbor was killed. He was like the road runner, and they were like Coyote, said Darnell's mother. He kept getting away, and they kept coming after him trying to kill him. He was always looking over his shoulder. But Darnell's luck would run out one morning at 3rd Street and Newcomb Avenue. On March 27, 1995, Darnell had an attempt on his life at 7 a.m., but he survived. He wouldn't be shot that time, but later that day, Darnell and 3 of his friends were riding in his Dodge Colt around 11 a.m., March 27, when 2 young men pulled up next to them in a Jeep and opened fire with automatic weapons. They fired more than 16 rounds, killing Darnell and wounding all 3 of his friends. His death and the controversy around it demonstrated the ugly chain of events involving violence in San Francisco housing projects, and also the problems police confront when no one's willing to cooperate with the investigators. Police believe that Darnell would not be dead if he had earlier identified his attackers. His family believed that he kept quiet because he feared the gang would take retribution on his mother and his sister, even after he moved his fiancée and daughter to the East Bay. Homicide investigators pointed out there was immediate revenge for Darnell's killing. 2 boys were shot and wounded while walking in the rival gang's territory several hours later after Darnell died. It's been 31 years since the death of Darnell, and Harbor Road and Oakdale still have beef, and people are still dying to this war, which is known to be displayed now on social media and in music.
Come through swerving in that bourbon, bounce out, take his life. I do this shit for the dead homies, I ain't tripping on strikes. Look, young Icy, keep them Glocks, nigga. You know this beat don't stop, nigga. I'm a real 3, nigga. I don't fuck with no big block, nigga. Hey, Drew Brees, I heard they leaking, grab that chop, nigga. We on one, let's go and take a trip up top, nigga.
We back out this bitch shit. Talking greasy, dude ain't even got no bees. Ain't spin a block, but niggas steady dropping 3s. I'm in a point with some demons, it's a switch on every gleek. Masked up before shiesty, ask them niggas up the street. 2 letters DG, we some hot boys, free being about the feds, known for riding with that chop boy. Cracking 3s in them vids, you get shot for it. And why you bragging about them skits if they not yours?
Yeah, and I can show you how to walk the street. I think my gun a leash, I get up on him and start walking him. Roll my leg low, slide through it, he start parking him. I'm dropping Q's and I'm dropping foes, you know I'm dropping 3s. Yeah, mount the street, we gon' clean it up until they spot is clean.
This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, hype, comment, and subscribe.